Well, hey everyone, Dylan, as always, from Gold Paydirt Reviews. And for today, super excited, I have Eureka Joe's. I've been wanting to try Eureka Joe's, mostly because I think they were the first Paydirt I ever found that sold 5-gallon and 1-gallon buckets, and that always just, you see something like that, you're like, man, if I had an extra $1,200, I'd be buying one of those. Sadly, I'm usually limited at about $60 is my price range I'm comfortable buying with a bag of Paydirt. Every once in a while I get some a little better. It's because I got some a little cheaper, But it all works out by the end that most of these bags I'm buying are about 60 pounds. So maybe one of these days these videos will start getting enough clicks where I can afford a $1,200 bag of 5-gallon bucket. And Eureka Joe's would probably be the first person I'd go to. So anyway, this is their Taste of Alaska bag. It's 2 pounds, and I'm excited about it. And to get to start, I'm going to say something about it. This bag actually arrived broken, and as you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it is broken. It's one of the reasons I don't like coffee bags, is when coffee bags are sealed, they don't let the air out. So what happens is when you put it in a box, and this thing is like a balloon, and this isn't just Eureka Joe's, this is any seller that uses these Mylar coffee bags, is that when the box gets squished or pushed or anything else like that, this can't go anywhere, it pops. Now, the one thing is, so as always, Eureka Joe's would be getting an 8, and typically I would probably reduce it because of the fact that it broke. But I'm actually going to give Eureka Joe's a 10 for their bag for this review. So I wanted to get to that in case somebody notices that the bag's broken before. And the reason I'm going to still give them a 10 is because they double bag. And like they tell you in high school, always double bag. So, so even though the bag broke, any dirt that would have fallen out was safe in another bag. So, they spent the extra 2 cents, 3 cents it takes to guarantee that if their bags do break, you still don't lose anything. And I like that. It's an extra attention to detail, which makes me really glad that I bought this stuff. So I'm going to open this up, dump this out, and play through it while I continue talking. Since the bag was torn, it was very easy to open, which I don't know if is a good thing. So again, Taste of Alaska, it's $55. It's their cheapest entry point that they have for their Paydirt. I mean, it goes way up from there. I think their next bag is in the $100 range. So there's no gold amount stated except for that there is gold in it. It ships for free, so it was $55. I received it really, really quickly. I think it was 4 days from Alaska. I mean, it shipped the same day I placed the order. I got a notification that the label was printed. So I'm guessing it was at the next day at the very latest that it went in. So, well, I'm going to get to it. I'm not going to waste too much time yipping and yapping. I'm going to go screen this out and see what we get. So, I'll be right back. Alright, so back, finished classifying everything out. And as you can see, it really looks like an even amount for all of it. I mean, from the over 10 to the under 30, I would guess that they're all pretty close to weight. Or maybe not weight, but amount. And I know it looks like a lot because I kept thinking, man, that's a lot of Paydirt. But it is a 2-pound bag. Typical bags you buy from Paydirt from most sellers are going to be 1 pound. This is a 2-pound bag. So $55. So that's about $27.50 a pound is what, that's a really reasonable rate for Paydirt. Now I don't know how much gold's in it. Maybe there's only $5 worth of gold. Maybe there's 20, maybe there's 50, maybe there's 1. I don't know. So I won't know about the Roy. But, for a good bag of Paydirt, $55 isn't bad for 2 pounds. This is a lot of Paydirt to go through. I mean, you do have a lot of plus 10, but even just the under 10, under 20, and under 30 is a fairly nice bit amount. So it is really, really dusty, as you can see. I mean, even the over 10, just shaking the pan, you can see all the dust that's accumulating, this under 30 stuff that's just added to is stuck on this. And once I hit water with this, you know, it won't be this nice tan anymore. It'll look like dirt and stones and rocks and different colors and hopefully gold. So I'm going to re-rate back, and I'm going to go pan out this over 10 and see what we got. So I'll be right back. Well, I'm back, and I finished panning out the over 10, and zip, zada, nilch, nothing. I really didn't expect, you know, to find big, huge nugget, but, you know, you always want to. You know, you're always like, oh, yeah, did I get the jackpot? Did I get a good bag? So, unfortunately, I did not get any pickers or nuggets that I could get out of this one. So, next I will do the under 10 over 20, and I'm hoping to get some flakes out of this. When I was screening all this stuff down, I did not see any gold in anything. But, you know, typically if you're going to see it with your eye, it's going to be in this or the over 10. Unless you got better peepers than me, then you might be able to see it in the lower stuff. You might see a flash you think is gold, but typically if you're going to find a picker or a nice flake or two, it's going to be in this stuff. So, well, since that one was a bust, I'll be right back, and this time hopefully I'll have better news for you in the under 10 over 20. Well, back, finished panning out the under 10 over 20, and much better results than the over 10. You can see it's about 20 to 25 nice little pieces of gold. They're not flakes. All this gold is round, so it will roll. So, you know, when you're panning it, just something to know. I mean, there's a difference between when you're panning and something's rolling and something's sliding around. You know, the ones that tend to roll tend to want to leave your pan. You know, the more they'll roll, the easier it is for them to just catch on a ride with something else and get their way out. So far, I've got nothing out of the over 10 and a nice little bit out of the under 10 over 20. Now, I will say this stuff is fairly dirty. So I do suggest using a pour-off pan. If you don't know what a pour-off pan is, I will link below to my video about having a pour-off pan, and I'll try to add one to this video as well. But, you know, me and YouTube don't always get along, so it might just be a link underneath it. It will definitely be in my blog. I'll re-highlight that, just so you're not putting so much of that nasty, dirty dirt back into your bucket of pan water, because it's a lot easier to catch gold if you can see the gold. So I'm going to be right back. Hold on, let me grab this. I'm going to go pan out the under 20 over 30 and see what I get, and hopefully I'll have, you know, because the last one was pretty fun. But before I do this, I will do my typical thing. I don't usually, you know, show the magnet on the larger stuff because it wouldn't really matter. But I did check it earlier, and there's really not too much that's magnetized in this. And I did try it also in the under 30, and again, not too much. So if you like to cheat a lot with a magnet, this Paydirt is going to be a little tougher for you. But so far, like I said, except for the fact that the gold that I found so far was a little rounded and will tend to roll a little bit more than flat flakes, the Paydirt's been really easy. I haven't seen any micro gold. This is labeled as a beginner bag, so, you know, I didn't expect to find super fines. So, all right, but I'm going to be right back. All right, back. Finished screening out the under 20 over 30, and as you can see, a nice little bit. Too many to count, too old to bother. It's a nice little bit. That's all I do. So, again, not very much was magnetized. This is what I got out of the over 10. Under 10 over 20 was 20 to 25 pieces, and this is what I've gotten so far out of the. Try and get it on one little corner so you can see how much it is. And that's what I got out of the under 20 over 30. And again, it's not super difficult, Paydirt. Even this gold was round too. So like I said, in the under 10 over 20, it tended to be rounder. It's the same thing with this Paydirt. It's not very flat. It's more of a coarse type gold. It's just a different challenge, but it's nothing too hard for beginner. Actually, I would like a bag like this for a beginner so far, just because there's so much of it. You know, typically if you buy a bag of Paydirt, it's going to cost you from 50 to 60 bucks, and you're getting 1 pound. This is 2 pounds, so it gives you a lot more material to work through. You're probably going to get the same amount of gold as if you bought a 1 pound bag from another seller. You know, I don't know what the ROI on this one is yet, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Most bags predominantly are 1 pound bags, so this is nice to have 2 pounds. It makes you work for it. So typically, I kept thinking to myself, man, I'm going slow. But it's not I'm going slow. I got twice as much material to go through. So, anyway, speaking of twice as much material, here's my twice as much under 30 to go through. I'm about to go through right now. I'm hoping there's gold in it, but, we'll find out. I mean, I was really surprised in my last reviews. I didn't think I would find anything in my under 30 based on the description and what the seller had told me and such, and I found enough that really threw me over the top on my ROI. So I'm hoping I do. It's a lot of material for a small bag of Paydirt. I mean, not small, but it is 2 pounds. But for a cheap price, So I'll be right back, and I'm going to go. Well, before I go, I will show you again with the magnet, just so you can see. There's really not a lot that's magnetized. I mean, there might be might save you a little bit of time when you get down to the super fines. Once you're almost done, you might want to use the magnet, but there's really not too much magnetized, so we'll find out how much more difficult this is than the other ones, and if the gold is still that nice little round coarse gold. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go pan this out. Alright, back, finally finished panning out the under 30, and it was a chore. Not because it was so difficult, but because there was so much. I mean, like I showed you, probably a good 8 ounces of the Paydirt you got, maybe probably closer to 10, was under 30. So it was pretty hard work. A nice amount of gold. I don't know what this is going to weigh up to be its ROI. This isn't looking like it's going to be a record breaker, but it was a $55 bag of Paydirt. Wasn't expecting, to break a record. So, again, it was very challenging for this little bit. The rest part, and it wasn't really challenging. It was more tedious because there was a lot of Paydirt. So that was it for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right back. I'm going to put all the gold in one nice pile so you can see how much we have. And I'm going to do my final results and my review and tell you what I thought of the Paydirt. So I'll give you my final thoughts in a minute. Alright, so Dylan here, GoldPaydIrtReviews.com, back with my final thoughts on Eureka Joe's 2-pound bag, Taste of Alaska. One, it was nice getting a 2-pound bag. Usually I can't think of the last time, other than when I buy something purposely big like a 5-pound bag. Almost all the bags I review are 1-pound bags. So it was nice getting a 2-pound bag. It's probably one of the reasons, it's just because my mind doesn't think that way on why it took me so long to buy this Paydirt. Because if you think about it, for each pound you're paying $27.50, which is a really good price for a Paydirt. And I just always saw the price of $55 and the fact that, it's essentially an unsearched bag. They're not telling you how much gold is in there, just that there is gold. So, if I would have really thought in my head, hey, that's 2 pounds, it equals to $27.50 a pound, I probably would have bought it a lot sooner. And I'm glad I did, because it was fun Paydirt. So, let me get to the review and my final thoughts and what I'm going to base this on. Now, some of these, of course, will change a little bit once I get it on my blog, maybe. But, okay, for the ROI, I don't know. I haven't weighed it out. I do all that later on, so it's one of the reasons, most of these videos are shot specifically just so you can see the Paydirt, if I'm excited, not excited, and all the other stuff. The ROI you can get off my blog. If all you want is ROI, it'll take you 2 seconds, pop on there, scroll down on the side, it shows you all my ROIs. You don't have to read anything or do anything. There's no logging in or getting cookies or spammed or any of that. So, fun factor, this was definitely a 10. It was fun. It was relaxing. I enjoyed myself. It was a different change when you're so used to panning out 1 pound and you're wondering why am I going so slow. It was nice that I was doing, it was a 2 pound bag. So, value, again, it's going to be at least a 5. So, whatever the Roy is plus a 10 for the fun factor. My overall experience, I'm going to say, depending on what the Roy is going to be, it's either going to be an 8 or a 10. I don't know what the Roy is because, you could guess all you want. I could say, oh, this looks like 60%, but sometimes you're fooled. So gold has a tendency, sometimes I've seen some really big nuggets that weighed almost nothing and some really small ones that were just dense and really weighed a lot. So, Paydirt description. Now they don't put a lot of info on here. So I would probably give him a 6, but I'm going to jump it up to an 8 because of the fact of the customer service, which I will get to in a minute. So I'm going to give this an 8 for its description. The quality is definitely 8. It was exactly what it was described to me. So it was, it was 2 pounds. It was actually 2 pounds, I believe 3 ounces about. Maybe it was 3.4. Somewhere, it was over 2 pounds. It wasn't, I know sometimes you get exactly 2 pounds. This was a little over, so they didn't weigh in the bag, I don't think. The Paydirt quantity, again, it was over 2 pounds, so it was on the money. They will definitely get a 10 for that. The Paydirt packaging, as I said in the beginning, this would be an 8. I do not like these coffee bags simply because of the fact, as I stated before, they don't let air escape. So when they get pushed, if you push one, if I don't want to take out another one of my bags to show you just because it'll be a competitor. But if you push them, they will pop just like a balloon. And, everyone knows the post office is not gentle. So I don't like these bags, but I do give them an 8 because they are one of the few options sellers can go out there with. So I give them an 8. But I'm actually going to bump this one up to either a 9 or a 10. I have not decided yet. Simply because they do double bag. He puts it inside of a Ziploc bag before he puts it in the box. So if it does pop, which the bag did, it catches a Paydirt, which mine did again. So I was extremely happy about that. I love that extra little umph they put in there for that. So I am going to bump it up from an 8, which is what I typically give. I don't know if I'll give him a 10, but definitely give him at least a 9 for this. Now, for customer service, this one I'm going to give them an... I don't know about this one. Because see, what happened was, when you go to Eureka Joe's, if you want to ask them a question, you ask the question and they send you a little email so you confirm your email before they get their message because they want to make sure you're not just spamming them. And I did that so it confirms that they got your email. There's no, oh, well, we didn't get your email. It's lost an email. Because they tentatively send you an email first telling you click this so we can get your email. And I did that. And I didn't hear anything. It was actually my wife emailed them. And I didn't hear anything for 48 hours. And so she emailed them back. But they were right on it right there. They apologized. They said they didn't know how they missed it. But they did miss it. And they didn't try and pull it off and say, oh, well, it went into our spam folder. They said they simply missed it. It was a busy week. When they apologized, they actually, went out of their way to apologize and answer all the questions and make sure they answered more questions. So typically that would be an 8 in my scale that I have. Because it was a slow reply, but or maybe a 9. So I'm probably going to give them a 10 for customer service. Because one, part of customer service is how you package. And the fact that they go out of their way to make sure it's double bagged. So I'm going to give them a 10. I'm not going to struggle with this anymore. They're definitely a 10 on customer service. I was pleased. I was happy. My wife was happy with the end result. They answered all my questions in the end. I mean, they went out of their way to answer all our questions. For shipping, a definite 10. This stuff, the day my wife ordered it, there was a label printed on PayPal within, I think, 2 hours. And it wasn't right after she'd answered questions. She'd asked them the questions and she ordered the Paydirt the next day. And it was in the mail, I'm pretty sure, that day because it is from Alaska. I'm in the middle of the United States, and it was here, I believe, 3 days later. So it was here quick. And I'm so happy about that. So that's a definite 10. So they're going to do a good job. They're going to have a high score. It will depend on the Roy, and I'll find out about that. As usual, you got to go to my website to get the Roy. And I know I had promised y'all the last time I did a video that I would have one the following week, and I would actually have 2. And now it's been 2 weeks later, and I gave you 1 review. Well, we'll have a review tomorrow. Last week I couldn't do anything. My arthritis was acting up, so my hands, can't close your hands. It's a little hard to hold a pan. So But I will have a review up tomorrow. And then we'll have another review later on after that in another week. So I thank you. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button and do whatever you can. Thank you.